according to some new Fox polling, around a quarter of New York City voters would describe themselves as Democratic Socialist. Among Democrats, that number jumps to nearly 4 in 10.
In New Jersey, Democrat Mikey Sherrill defeated Republican Jack Ciattarelli to become the state's next governor. Conceding the election, Ciattarelli says his campaign has still allowed New Jersey Republicans to make their voices heard.
Even though we were not successful tonight, it does not mean we were not successful in talking about the issues that matter. I'm more passionate than ever.
Former Democratic Representative Abigail Spanberger will be Virginia's next governor in what is widely considered an early signal about how voters are feeling about President Donald Trump. Alexandria Hoff has more from Richmond, Virginia.
According to this Fox News polling, 2/3 of Spanberger supporters reported that they cast their vote for her as a way to oppose President Trump. Interestingly, 1/3 of Sears voters did so to support the president.
Democrat candidate Jay Jones was also elected as the state's next attorney general, despite facing scrutiny over personal text messages from 2022 in which he suggested the former Virginia House Speaker should be shot and killed. Today, the U.S. Supreme Court will hear oral arguments in the case challenging President Trump's authority to impose sweeping tariffs. Attorney and Fox News contributor Mehek Cook says this is a huge case.
We're talking about economic security and whether the president has the ability to protect Americans today. And this case comes down to a very simple question. Can he defend the nation, or does the authority just solely rest with Congress?
An Anglican pastor who has spent a great deal of time in Nigeria says President Trump should use any means necessary to stop the slaughter of Christians by Islamic jihadists in that African country.
Speaking to reporters on Air Force One, President Trump recently expressed his concerns about the genocide of Christians in Nigeria and said he's ordered the Pentagon to begin planning for potential military action there. Trump is convinced that the government is failing to rein in the persecution of Christians in the West African country. The president also warned that he will immediately stop all aid and assistance to Nigeria. Dr. William Devlin is a U.S. Navy veteran who now serves as co-pastor of the Infinity Bible Church in the South Bronx, New York, and national president of Redeem, an organization committed to assisting persecuted people and groups around the globe, including Nigeria. He is pleased with Trump's decisions.
I've been working my guts out, along with a lot of other colleagues in Nigeria and in the U.S., to get Nigeria redesignated as a country of particular concern, or CPC. And Trump said last Friday, on October 31st, that he's going to redesignate Nigeria as CPC. And then what he said over the weekend is that I'm thinking about sending in troops. And I say, send in the troops.
And how far should we go?
When there's wanton killing of Nigerian Christians and the government is doing absolutely nothing, as we say in the military, by any means necessary.
I'm Chad Groening.
More news online at afn.net and on the AFN mobile app. I'm Rusty Pugh.
Every day, AFA offers biblical insight on issues that others aren't willing to touch, in the hopes that you'll become a world changer. That's why we're offering an in-depth worldview training course called Activate. 13 different professors teaching 18 sessions, all available online, including a printed workbook to help you apply what you've learned, and 1-year access to AFA streaming content to give you even more resources. Find out more about Activate and sign up today at activate.afa.net.
From the big screen to the TV screen to our phone screen, you can't hide the fact that media plays a huge role in today's society, and it shows no signs of slowing down. Movies, documentaries, and animated features are everywhere, and we can't forget audio, music, podcasts. Where does it end? American Family Studios was started to take society's obsession with media and turn it into a ministry opportunity. What better way to advance the Christian worldview than to use movies, TV shows, and audio to get the message across? Quality is of the utmost importance, so our post-production facility has the equipment and space required to fill a wide range of needs, including a studio that can accommodate a live audience. The state-of-the-art facility has been used to create God Speaks, Summer Snow, I Am Potential, and Ryan DeFrades' Secret Agent, and that's just scratching the surface. Stay up to date on what's coming next and get to know us better at AmericanFamilyStudios.net.
Welcome to Today's Issues, offering a Christian response to the issues of the day. Here's your host, Tim Wildmon, President of the American Family Association.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's issues on the American Family Radio Network. Today's Wednesday, November the 5th, 2025, in case you're wondering. And in studio with me, I'll introduce my panel here that's joining me to comment on the events of the day and fate of the world, whatever else they want to talk about. Ed Vitagliano, good morning.
Good morning, Tim.
Wesley Wildmon.
I'm glad to be here.
Are you really?
I am glad to be here.
Okay, I just want to make sure that's from your heart.
From my heart,
okay.
I am glad to be here.
Okay. Jeff Shreve would say that's from his heart.
That's right, yeah, from his heart.
From his heart. All right, Fred Jackson.
Yes, great to be with you on this happy day.
Yes. Fred's chair is jacked up 6 inches higher than everybody else's in the studio. So Fred is peering down at all of us.
Well, you know those Canadians are
yeah,
right.
they think they're superior.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to jack my seat up here. I don't know. I can't. I feel like a little kindergartner in front of my principal here. Now I feel better.
Now we're speaking at the same
peers.
level.
Yes,
yeah,
we are.
Yeah.
What happens is, obviously, there's other radio programs throughout the day, and so we get different chair heights, and
people come in here.
People come in. Somebody's already messed with, quote, my computer.
Yeah, or my chair.
Your chair.
What's always funny to me at church is if you're able to watch we all do this in every church in America that I've ever been to. People sit in the same place.
Yeah.
Basically, if they can, and when they can't, and a visitor's come in and unbeknownst has sat in the seat of somebody that got their normal place. They may not say anything, but you can see the visceral reaction.
It's a topic of discussion at lunch.
You can see the reaction. Yes, you can see the reaction. You know, like you're, hey, well, walk up to the seat. Welcome to our church.
No,
would you scoot down?
That's not what I say.
What do you say?
I say
we sit here.
I'd say this is our seat.
You just lay it right out there.
You're going to have to move.
Like it or lump it.
Yeah. Well, and if you have a church that's usually pretty close to being full, then visitors are always going to be in somebody's seat.
Yeah.
And it just depends on how
What I got a problem is
possessive
with the ushers who know we sit there.
And
they still take a visitor to sit down.
They should play defense. Right. And just tell them, no, you can't sit
They
here.
need to have a section for visitors.
There you go.
Separate
them
off.
Thought, yeah.
Into the off to the side,
Fence
into the
them
back.
Oh, kind of.
Until they're ready to commit an offering.
Kind of like
If they want to start paying to sit there, I got no problem with that.
And
kind of like a mask section during COVID and a non-mask section.
Yeah. Yes. Segregation.
You could just label that section strangers.
Yeah. Just put a little sign up there and say, welcome, strangers. You sit here.
What is a pilgrim or passing through? Or
Yeah, there you go.
If you want to
aliens and strangers.
If you want to start tithing, we'll move you up. Other than that, don't complain. Do you think that's a good welcoming program for a church?
Absolutely. What could go wrong?
Yeah, that's funny.
All right. We got a lot to talk about today. Thanks for listening to American Family Radio. Tim, Ed, Wesley, and Fred. And Abraham Hamilton III, who is the host of the Hamilton Corner each afternoon here on American Family Radio from 5 to 6 o'clock Central. He's also a constitutional attorney. He will be with us, and we'll see what comes up with Brother Abe when we talk to him. What's leading the news, Fred?
Oh, I don't know.
You don't sound very happy, Fred. Not very positive.
I tell you what, if you are a Democrat, you are celebrating today. We've been talking about the elections that were upcoming, and they were held yesterday. And in New York City and Virginia and New Jersey, it is an understatement to say that the Democrats did well. Let's start with probably the most high-profile race, and that was the mayor of New York City. Zoran Mamdani is the mayor-elect of the largest city in the country. And it wasn't a surprise that he won because all the polls were saying he was way out in front. But last night, he had reason to celebrate. Here's a little bit of his victory speech, cut number 1.
For as long as we can remember, the working people of New York have been told by the wealthy and the well-connected that power does not belong in their hand. If anyone can show a nation betrayed by Donald Trump how to defeat him, it is the city that gave rise to him. I am Muslim. I am a democratic socialist. I refuse to apologize for any of this.
Yeah, so that is Mamdani, Zoran Mamdani last night celebrating.
Why did he say he's a Muslim?
Because
he is one.
But what if somebody said, I am a Christian? And then the media would be saying, oh my goodness.
Can't bring religion
he's a
in
Christian
politics.
nationalist.
And you can't bring religion
and
into
don't
politics.
bring religion into politics. But you can.
I think that was directed at President Trump too. I think he's saying, President Trump doesn't like me because I'm a Muslim and a socialist, and I'm declaring that I'm both, and I'm proud of it. And he obviously had a room full of his supporters.
Okay, but you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Anyway, so he won. He won handily, right?
He won handily. Katie Pavlich is one of those Fox contributors. She talks about the fact this guy is a democratic socialist, as we've been talking about, and he's out there, and Katie Pavlich thinks this guy is dangerous. Cut number 8.
But the fact is that Americans are still struggling with the prices that they have to pay for everyday items like groceries and gas. Now, his solutions to that will only make it worse. And more broadly speaking, this is not just about Mamdani taking over New York City and getting into the mayor's office. This is about a socialist movement across the country that is very organized through the Democratic Socialists. Last night, one of the biggest cheers he got during his victory speech was when he said, I'm a Democratic Socialist. And they have an organized movement that is ready to put candidates like Mamdani into blue districts, ultimately to take over Congress, to take over city halls, to take over the White House potentially, eventually. And so this is not just something that is isolated to New York City. This is a very powerful, organized movement with lots of money that has been put into play here all over the country.
Okay. So Mamdani won.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the most liberal mayor ever in New York City, and that's saying a lot. Because they had de Blasio, they've had others. Now
they had was it Ted Lindsay in the 70s, early 80s?
Ted Lindsay?
Yeah, he was very liberal.
Him, yeah. Anyway, so they go ahead.
Would you classify someone who's self-proclaimed communist a liberal?
No,
or you just
I don't know.
Say he's a communist.
He's the most far left. I put it that way.
That makes sense.
He's not a classical liberal, and he doesn't call himself one. He's a Democrat. In fact, they don't like liberalism. Mm-hmm. They consider them to be the old guard of the Democrat Party, which they're at war with. Mm-hmm. AOC has said as much.
Yeah.
So anyway, so he won. So we'll see what happens next. There's 3-4 things that this guy is going to champion that are. I got to see where he goes with this and the ramifications. I think we all kind of know where it's going to. He is very anti-police.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like in defund the police. Now he backtracked that somewhat because he didn't want to seem like he was against the police altogether. He backed.
Yeah, he did, and I don't understand why he would, but yeah.
But he did
to get elected.
Okay. Yeah. And he wanted to attract some people who were worried about crime.
Yeah.
It's by saying I'm not completely against the police.
Yeah.
But then he's for city-run grocery stores.
Yeah.
That is correct.
Now, why would you do that?
Well, allegedly, that he says that will allow us to lower grocery prices. Now, here's the problem with that. The groceries are going to come from outside of New York City. There aren't too many Henrys. There aren't too many vegetable gardens in New York City.
Right.
They're going to have to still purchase at wholesale prices controlled by states like Iowa and Texas. So how is he going to do that? It hasn't worked in other places.
Well, what does that do to Kroger and other grocery stores who are in competition with one another? And then in comes this government-run grocery store that sets the prices that are lower than the stores I've just mentioned.
Well, so the problem is going to be that, and to answer Fred's question, yes, sir, these government-run grocery stores will buy at wholesale prices from outside the city, but then the government of New York City will subsidize.
Right.
They'll subsidize the prices so they become, quote-unquote, more affordable.
Right.
So the prices, yes, in those government-run grocery stores go down. What Mamdani is saying is that will force Kroger, we'll use them as an example, to lower their prices because they don't really need to have the prices where they're at. They're just price gouging everyday American. Now they'll be forced to lower their prices. The fact is that the amount of profit these grocery stores, their profit margin's extremely low. So they are not going to be able to lower their prices and stay in business because they're not getting government subsidies.
Yes.
They will go out of business in New York City, or they will move out before they go out of business. And then all you'll have in New York City, probably some upscale places where the wealthy can buy their groceries, but you will have to have government-run grocery stores all across the city, and then New York City will go broke.
Wesley, go ahead, Wesley.
Well, so I'm looking at his website, and right here it says they want to freeze the rent, so no paying rent.
Oh, that's another thing.
Yeah, so no paying rent. They want free.
No, he's going to freeze the rent. He's going to set. Yes, he wants to set the price of rental homes.
That's right.
Right, or apartments.
Yeah.
Can I just jump in before we go and say why that's a bad idea? And is it going to work? Well, here's the thing: you artificially freeze rent, and then you. The consequence of that is you now lessen the amount of rental property that's available, because the only reason why people buy abandoned buildings, fix them up, and then rent them out is so that they can make money. And if you freeze the rent, they can't make money, so they stop buying buildings. This happened before when New York City had rent freezes. And also what happens is that people who own the buildings can't sell them because nobody wants to buy a building that you can't make money from renting. So you know what they did? And I think this was in the 80s. They burn them. They commit arson. So they at least get their insurance money. So all this communist garbage always backfires because you can't cure human nature. No one's going to buy rental property if they're going to lose money.
How about free busing?
Okay, that's number two. You got free busing. Then you've also got free child care. You've also got, we already mentioned city-owned grocery stores, so subsidized food or
free child care.
Yeah.
And free what?
Free public transportation.
Public transportation.
Oh, that'll work really well in New York. Free public transportation. I wonder who's going to be laying on all the seats.
Yep.
A massive increase in taxes
subways
for wealthy New Yorkers. So they're
you go for it, New York. You go for it. See how this is going to work out for you. My guess is he's not going to be able to do half that stuff.
And I hope he could.
I hope he can.
At this point,
because we need the world
needs to watch.
Yeah,
the world needs to watch it
without it costing the country.
But
that makes sense.
But if I'm an owner of an apartment complex, for example, and I'm a landlord or I'm an owner of a apartment building, and that's how I make a living, I don't see how it's constitutional for this guy to come in and say, set the rates by the government and saying whatever losses I have. I have to absorb. Or is he going to say the government will pay you?
I don't know what the specifics
of his
plan would
free
be.
Stuff for everybody doesn't work, people. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. That's not the real world.
Well, New York City's going to go broke. If they do pay the difference, if New York City says, all right, you own the building, you bought it thinking that you could have whatever price you want for rental, well, we're going to freeze it here, and whatever you would have had, we are going to make up the difference. that city's going to go broke in a hurry.
Okay. One last thing and then I want to move on from talking about the mayor of New York City, because I don't live there and they can do what they want to. Obviously, they will do what they want to, the people of New York, but they're going to live to regret this.
Sure.
But go ahead and do it. It's kind of like, but I will say this: what you're going to see more than anything else, and they've already got a problem here. This guy is an Alvin Bragg type person when it comes to law and order and crime. He believes in social justice to the hilt. And so you're not going to have almost anything prosecuted in New York. Why? Because he believes that the criminals have had an unfair shot at life, and they don't need to be prosecuted by the law for their wrongdoings.
Yeah, and it organically pushes out anybody with a moral compass or somebody that wants to do right. Because if you're an officer, play this scenario out. If you're an officer and you want to follow the law, but you're, in this case, your leaders are against you, then you're going to go, most likely you're going to be incentivized to go somewhere else where the community supports you. So then you're left with
It's going to be bad.
Potentially bad.
Come back and see me in 2 years after this guy.
Sure. Let me just add this one other thing if you want to move on after that, because this is why I have a little bit of optimism that what's about to happen in New York City is not going to...
Encouraging Ed. That's what I'm calling you.
That's what I'm going to encourage our listeners.
Encouraging Ed speak.
And I don't think this is necessarily going to spread across the country, because I'm looking at the New York Times, and I can't click through to get... It's behind a paywall, but I can read this. This is the opening paragraph. It says about a third of the city's population was born abroad. Okay.
Like now, instead of a man?
And I would never call women broads.
Oh, I misunderstood you. I'm sorry. Nor would I. I just thought I was trying to help you.
Yeah, I'm sure you were trying to. All
right.
Yeah, you were trying to throw me on one of those free buses.
They were born in other countries.
They were born in other countries. And here's why I say that. Now, my mom, I come from immigrants. My mom's family was first generation from Greece. My dad was third generation from Italy. I'm not saying immigrants or immigration's bad. I'm saying what we're seeing in places like New York City. We're going to jump over to Virginia, Northern Virginia, Atlanta. Okay, we're seeing the
Chicago.
politics. Some of these cities are shifting because people are moving from other countries, bringing their values that are not necessarily jiving with the rest of America, and they're voting those values. And you're going to see
some legal, some illegal.
Yes, I absolutely believe that. So that is something to keep in mind. A third of the population of New York City are not native-born Americans. What are their beliefs and values?
Wow.
Speaking of that, I mean, you sound like it's a joke, but those people like Mamadami and AOC and people like that, they don't believe you should be a legal citizen to have to vote.
That's right.
Right.
This is how wackadoodle these folks are.
And they believe the government should pay for me.
Yeah,
that's why they can't.
Where are they going to get? Where is he going to get all this money? That's what everybody wants to know. Where is he going to get all this money? Because if he starts quote soaking the rich, guess what the rich are going to do? Florida.
Yeah.
Or Long Island. Well, I don't know if Long Island. I don't think that's a part of the city, but I mean they're going other places. They're not going to sit there.
Right.
I don't care how liberal you are. You don't want people taking your money.
Right.
Right. So anyway, we'll see what happens there. But so that's what happened in New York City last night.
Virginia, Democrat Abigail Spanberger will be the new governor.
Well, we got some names here, don't we?
Yes.
Zoran Mandami, and now we got what?
Abigail Spanberger.
Okay.
All right. She won handily over her Republican competitor, Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl Sears. Was no problem there. So one of the things being watched also in Virginia was the Democrat who was running for Attorney General. We've talked about him, Jay Jones. You remember during the campaign, it was discovered he made a couple of social media posts talking about killing a political enemy and his children.
No, they were private text.
Yep, yeah, they
weren't
text.
social media posts.
Texts. They were discovered.
Right, but there's a difference between posting on Facebook,
right,
and a private text. I just wanted to distinguish there. Not that anyway, go ahead.
Yes. Anyway, those texts went public, but it didn't seem to matter to the voters there. He won handily over the existing Attorney General there in Virginia, Jason Myers. So it was basically a clean sweep. By the way, the person who won the lieutenant governor last night in Virginia is a Muslim as well, a female Muslim, a woman Muslim. So it was a clean sweep. I was listening to Bishop Jackson last night. He was filling in for Abe Hamilton, and he was talking about the Virginia issue. Basically, politics in Virginia, driven by the heavy population in Loudoun County and in the north part of Virginia, which has a lot of government employees, and perhaps the government shutdown had something to do with how the vote went there.
Yeah, I think Virginia's been a purple state, but the Republicans shocked the world 4 years ago by winning all three statewide elections. That is, governor, lieutenant governor, and AG. But the Democrats blew them out of the water yesterday, and I almost say you could call Virginia a blue state now. I mean, I think
well, because of Northern Virginia. The rest of the states probably, with some exceptions.
Yeah, Northern Virginia,
they carry.
Those aren't native Virginians.
Right.
Okay, those are people who moved in from out of the country or from other states
to work in D.C.
Yeah, so it's a suburb. Basically, it's become a suburb of Washington D.C., which is 99% blue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, that's just extending out into northern. If I were Virginia, I would be willing to donate those counties to Maryland. Can you do that?
Brexit?
I don't know.
They're rich counties. Just say Maryland.
You want that tax base? Probably
take them, please.
Virginia.
Yeah. Take them.
You want that tax base?
I don't. Anyway, except for I think maybe Norfolk, not Norfolk, but there's a little part of the coast there in Virginia and part of Richmond proper, and then the suburbs of Washington, D.C. Other than that, the whole state's red.
Right.
Yeah.
So, all right, we'll be back in a moment with more of today's issues on the American Family Radio Network. Stay with us.
It's my turn.
Here is your host for My Turn, Don Wildmon.
Perhaps you have heard it, perhaps not. But even if you have heard it, it's worth repeating. The legend of the three trees. It goes like this. Once there were 3 trees in the forest near Jerusalem. They were baby trees, and they were discussing what they wanted to be when they grew up. One tree said that his desire when he grew up was to be made into a baby's cradle. The second tree expressed its desire. When I grow up, I want to be made into a mighty sailing vessel and explore the high seas. And then the third tree added that it wanted to be just what it was. I want to remain a tree and stay on the top of this hill and point people to God and His beauty and love. Well, the years came and went, and before long the trees were all grown up. The tree which wanted to be a cradle for a baby was cut down and made into a feeding trough. The second tree was cut down and made into a small fishing boat, which was used on the Sea of Galilee. And the third tree was cut down and made into a cross for use in a crucifixion. None of the 3 trees got what they wanted, it seemed. The trees learned a lesson which many grown-up humans often learn, and that is that the dreams we dream as children often don't come true in adulthood. How many of us have gotten what we wanted since we've grown up? Many a small girl has dreamed dreams of a Prince Charming rescuing her and her marrying Prince Charming and living happily ever after. And many a small boy has dreamed of becoming an important person as an adult and winning the praise of his fellow man. But let me finish the legend of the three trees. The one which was made into a feeding trough was used as a cradle for the baby Jesus. And the one which was made into a small fishing boat was used by the man Jesus to preach from. And the one which wanted to stand on the top of a hill and point people to God was used to crucify Jesus on. So it seems that each of the three trees received its wish. The only thing is that their wishes weren't fulfilled as they thought they would be. And how true to life this is. The little girl who never had her Prince Charming rescue her did fall in love with a fine young man who loved her devotedly throughout life. And the little boy who dreamed of becoming important wasn't known around the world, but to his wife and children, he was one of the most important people in all the world. Perhaps God is kinder to us than we often realize. Perhaps our childhood dreams come true more often than we think they do. We may not be able to get everything we want exactly like we want it in life. But this I believe, if we will set our sight on some high and noble goal and continue to pursue it throughout our life, there's a good chance we will reach it. For as the poet William Cooper once wrote, God moves in mysterious ways, his wonders to perform. So continue to pursue your high and noble dream. Who knows? It could come to you as it came to the three trees, by slipping in the back door.
This has been My Turn with Don Wildmon, a production of the American Family Association.
For we know that if the earthly tent we live in is destroyed, we have a building from God and an eternal house in heaven, not built by human hands. 2 Corinthians 5, verse 1.
American Family Radio.
This is Today's Issues. Email your comments to comments@afr.net. Past broadcasts of Today's Issues are available for listening and viewing in the archive at afr.net. Now, back to more of Today's Issues.
Hey, welcome back, everybody, to Today's Issues on the American Family Radio Network. Today's Issues, the name of this show. American Family Radio is the station you're listening to. Tim, Ed, Wesley, and Fred. And now Abraham Hamilton III joins us. Abe, good morning to you, brother.
Good morning.
Abe's the host of the Hamilton Corner, heard each afternoon, weekdays on American Family Radio from 5 to 6 o'clock Central Time. So we've been talking about the election results, which, I know people are going, well, it all went Democrat. And I'm going like, well, duh. These are all blue states. I mean, were we surprised? Except maybe Virginia, you might say it's a purple state. But the fact that Democrats won in New York City and New Jersey is not going to be breaking news here, okay? Before we get to your thoughts on this, Abe, I wanted to quote President Trump was asked about this, about the election results. He said, I think if you read the pollsters, the shutdown, we don't have this on audio, right? The shutdown was a big factor, negative for the Republicans, and that was a big factor. He's the leader of the Republicans, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but he's talking like it's their fault when he's the leader of the Republicans.
I think he's explaining that. I don't think he's blaming the Republicans for the shutdown. Well,
he's not.
He's explaining the fallout, the consequences of the Republicans sticking to their guns.
He said, I think if you read the pollsters, the shutdown was a big factor, negative for the Republicans, and that was a big factor. And they say that I wasn't on the ballot, and that was the biggest factor. But I don't know about that, but I was honored that they would said that. So,
is that in the quote? I was honored?
That's what he said. That's what Trump said. He was honored. Why are you laughing, Abe? You think He's not trolling right here. This is just. This is egomaniac coming out in Trump. This is
just amazing.
God love him.
Even in that,
he's done a lot of great things, but the leopard doesn't change his spot. Is that what they say? Why are you laughing so much?
I think it's hilarious.
What?
I think it's hilarious. I don't know if it's
okay.
I don't know if it's the way you're saying it or the way you're reading it.
I'll just read it like you said. This Fox News website. Trump added, and they say, Trump's good on that, isn't he? They say that I wasn't on the ballot.
And that's why Republicans lost.
Yes, and that was the biggest factor, he said.
That was the biggest factor.
Yes, but I don't know about that, he said. But I was honored that they said that.
All right.
Why is that funny, Ed? Is that funny to you?
No, I mean, it wasn't funny to me. I think what I mean, I'm not saying that you can't find
Abe's laughing, Wesley's laughing.
Yeah,
You're not laughing.
I'm just
not funny to you.
No, because I think what President Trump was saying is that I don't mean to put it this way, but he's the elephant in the room.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, and that's why Republicans won in Virginia, because his coattails, as it were, in 2024 were bringing Republicans along, even in places, including battleground states, even in places where they might not ordinarily do as well.
Right. So he wasn't about.
Go ahead.
He also said. He said these reasons, and he also said also the Jews. He said that were the reason. One of the reasons that they lost was.
He didn't say that.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I
just want our listeners to know.
Yeah,
we're just joking around.
You know, I'm playing on the joke that it's not funny often time, but Jews are blamed for everything.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, go ahead, Abe.
I just found it funny because it's almost like he can't help himself. Well, they lost because I wasn't on the ballot. But the truth is, like Virginia, for example, Glenn Youngkin and Jason Miyares won the year after he lost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so,
that is true.
He wasn't on the ballot.
It wasn't 2024.
He wasn't on the ballot then either.
That's just bless his heart.
It's just
God love him. That's how he is.
I know it, but it's just
he's like Republicans didn't have a chance because I wasn't on the ballot yesterday. That's what he said. Anyway, all right. Let's talk about what do we want to talk about?
You actually set it up, and then you went and you said before I do.
I got distracted.
You got distracted.
You distracted yourself, though. I wouldn't brag about that.
I do that in golf.
I do that just in regular life. I distract myself. I would like to know what Abe
you take
thinks.
over.
Well, I'd just like to know what Abe thinks about Mamdani, Zoran Mamdani. And we're going to get some time to say this. We're going to, like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez,
Yes.
we're going to get really good at saying Zoran Mamdani.
We'll make it go ZM.
Did you say Alexandria Occasional Cortex?
That's it.
No, but that's headed our direction this weekend.
Polar Cortex?
Is that what you said?
No.
You said cortex, right?
We are far away.
No, a cortex is a vortex in November.
Oh.
A lot of people don't know that. Well, I went to. Well, I don't want to.
You're distracting us.
No,
again.
I went to meteorology school for like a month, and then I had to drop out. And I learned this about cortex and vortex.
Yeah, cortex.
So
and
not
vortex.
general public doesn't know this.
Right.
So we can talk about it later. Okay, back to your question.
And your professor was just an old broad, wasn't she?
Well, you said that. I didn't say that. All right, talk to Abe about.
All right, so Abe,
Can we get serious? Go ahead and talk to Abe.
Yes, sir. So I'd like to know what you think about Mamdani's election, and second of all, do you think this points to a larger movement that would affect the rest of the nation? You think this is a one-off? You think it's just because of the particular circumstances in New York City? What's your take on Mamdani?
So I'll start with the latter part first. I do think this is an indication of something with broader implication for the nation as a whole, because every major Democrat endorsed Mamdani.
Mm-hmm.
So the Mamdani platform, if you will, it's not hyperbolic to say it's the Democrat Party's platform.
Yeah.
Where you have the Democrat leader in the House of Representatives to endorse Mamdani. You have every popular Democrat.
Now, did Obama?
Democrat.
I read where he didn't.
He didn't say anything, but here's the thing. They either endorsed Mamdani or didn't say anything. There has not been any Democrats who've come out and condemned any aspects of Zohran Mamdani's outward. And he even said last night in his victory speech that he's pounding his chest saying that I'm a socialist.
Yeah.
He said it out loud.
A Democrat socialist.
I'm a Democrat
Muslim,
socialist.
what he said.
I'm a Muslim, which brings me to another point that you are either a Muslim or a progressive, because you can't be both. When did you last time did you see a committed devout Muslim support things like, I don't know, homosexuality,
right,
transgenderism?
That's a good point.
And things of these nature. So they both can't be true. You
That's
are
true.
either you are a lukewarm Muslim, not truly devout, or you are a devout Muslim practicing the doctrine of taqiyya.
That's right.
In order to gain power.
Deception.
And all is the doctrine of taqiyya in Islamic theology says you can lie in order to get Islam in power.
Right.
So is that happening? And then the third thing is just because I can't escape the reality of this, having been aware of this process throughout history. While right now in Dearborn, Michigan, and Hamtramck, Michigan, I had Israel Wayne on my show a couple weeks ago, who lives in Michigan, to where he said in Dearborn, it's not formal Sharia law, but it's functional Sharia law, where you have Christians in the year of our Lord 2025 who are being stoned for trying to evangelize in Dearborn. We just had a terrorist plot that was just caught up, and it's amazing that you had all of these news stories saying a terrorist plot, but the criminal complaint says they were working for ISIS. But none of the news stories mentioned ISIS. And this is on, they called it in their private chat, Pumpkin Day. We need to do this on Pumpkin Day. This all just happened. So my question is, or what I'm pondering, knowing the trajectory of Islam throughout the history in every place where they've gained prominence, it was, we are immigrants, we are hospitable, we are peaceful, we are neighborly.
Until they're not.
Until there's a critical mass population-wise.
Right.
Into where they can enforce what they really believe, and then it's domination with jizya taxes and dhimmis.
Yeah.
Is that happening in our own country?
No
I can't help but
constitution.
think about it.
Right.
Yeah. Well, France is 10% Muslim now. We see what's happening in the UK and other Western countries.
Just 10%, but Hamtramck, Michigan is 60%.
Yeah. I was
In
going to say in
Dearborn,
some places it's much higher than 10%.
yeah, but
I'm
he's saying
saying,
what happened in France.
I'm saying
is only
for the whole
10%.
country of France.
Yeah, for
That's
the whole
big
country.
population.
And it started somewhere, and Dearborn is a majority of Muslims now. Hamtramck is more percentage-wise, even though it's a smaller city than Dearborn, on the right outside of Detroit, Michigan. I mean, this is happening right now, so I can't help but consider all of that.
You're right that a devout Muslim, somebody who follows Islam, and is not going to champion the LGBTQ cause.
They're not even allowed to support democracy or a republic.
That's right.
They're not allowed to support it. They're not allowed to vote.
I think he's a Muslim by culture.
Well,
I don't think he's a practicing Muslim. Does he turn toward Mecca 5 times a day? Does he wear a beard and not a mustache?
This is why you don't want to elect a Muslim, because they do have what Abe is mentioning, is that they can lie in order to
Communists
get power.
do too. You know, you can lie. You can lie to humankind lies to get an advantage. I want to know when the media is going to come out and
question them about
about being a Muslim nationalist.
Well,
so a Muslim internationalist.
Well, or what about intertwining his?
This guy has said out loud, and he's going to be unabashed. Now you're talking about he's barely been trying to soften his views for the general public for the election. Now he's elected. He's going to go full throttle as much as he can on this stuff. And he said,
which stuff now are you talking about? Muslim stuff or the
communist? Well, I'm talking not Muslim stuff. I'm talking about all the communist stuff that he's advocating for basically to simplify it, the government taking over everything and free stuff for everybody, and also basically soft on crime. It's going to be
anti-police.
Anti-police. But what I was talking about was this is a guy who has said to the public that if Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel lands his plane in New York City, the New York City Police Department will arrest him and hold him to send him to The Hague, I guess, or charge him with with
International Criminal Court.
Yes. Think about that for a minute. The Prime Minister of Israel, he said he will arrest him if he lands in New York City. Let me remind you, I don't know if Benjamin Netanyahu, he would probably, if he was, he probably will have to come and speak at the UN, should he remain Prime Minister sometime in the near future. But what is also bizarre about this is why I don't, what I'm about to say is why I don't think I think the Muslim part is just cultural and not going to be a part of his agenda. This is my own take. It's going to be more the communist part, the Democrat Socialist part that's going to dominate him, is because he has because he's so closely identified with all these other left-wing causes like the LGBTQ causes. I don't think he's going to use Islam to, because, I know what I was going to say. I lost my train of thought there, but I fooled all of you, didn't I? And I was about to lose on that fooling y'all. But I was going to say that in New York City, there are more Jews than there are anywhere in the world except Israel. So the fact that this guy was able to win in a town where probably 20% of the population is Jewish. I'm talking about in the city proper, okay? The voters, the 5 boroughs, is I wonder how the Jewish vote went in this election. See if you can type that in, because I think if they were really worried about him promoting his Islamic beliefs any more than that he would, like promoting Sharia, for example, he would be. The Jews would not vote for him. But I think he probably, I'm gonna guess he got 50% of the Jewish vote. I'm just gonna guess. Anyway?
Okay, this headline. This is apparently a Jewish independent nonprofit newsletter called Forward. Headline says Cuomo dominates Jewish vote in final Quinnipiac poll before the election. We may not have election breakdowns for a week. Yeah. Let's see, Cuomo with 60% of the support of likely Jewish voters, and Mamdani, a Democratic Socialist and strident critic of Israel, with 16% of likely Jewish voters saying they were going to vote for him. Now, as to who actually went out to vote and how they voted, we may not find out for a while.
Fred, go ahead. Next story.
Okay, I'm on again. Okay.
Stay with us, Abe.
Yes. Lara Trump was on Fox and Friends this morning. Lara Trump?
Never heard of her.
Laura?
Laura? Yeah, I'm sorry, spelling here. She said this morning that young women were behind the Mamdani victory in New York. I found that kind of interesting. Let's hear what she has to say. Cut 7.
Look at the New York City mayoral race, and at least what the exit polls tell us, the vast majority of the people who elected a Democratic Socialist with communist ideas to New York City's mayor's office were young women. So this is a big deal. We know that Donald Trump performed incredibly well, and Republicans did last election cycle, specifically with young men. But we've got to bring these young women in. And I think the idea that you either have to choose a path of starting a family, being a mother, or a career is erroneous. And I think we have to continue to talk to young women out there about the fact that you can do both. I'm proof of that. Erica Kirk is proof of that. Look all across Donald Trump's administration right now. There are so many women who are proof of that.
I'm not sure what she was saying there, that Republicans are perceived to be down on women or oppressive of women, and that Mamdani, for some reason, won their vote because he is more liberal. Maybe it was the universal free daycare, all that sort of thing. But I found that rather interesting. Why would they be deceived, women?
She said they were deceived?
Well, she's a huge number of his supporters were women.
Mamdani?
Yes.
Again, I'm sorry, Abe, go ahead.
Well, feel free to jump in there. that is not something that is aberrant in terms of electoral trends around the country. If you look at, I don't know how this goes on today's issues, but She Shall Never Be President, the remix, there's certain names that are verboten on the Hamilton corner. The large percentage of her supporters were young women for Kamala Harris.
Talking about HC.
I'm talking about Hillary Clinton first, Kamala Harris. Democrat voters largely now have become women, and particularly younger women are skewing toward the Democrat Party.
And it would be fair to say that young men are growing increasingly conservative.
Conservative, that's right.
But young women are growing increasingly leftist.
Mm-hmm. That's right. That's right. And so the electorate in New York City already skews left.
Right, yeah.
So to have young women driving Zohran Mamdani to victory is consistent for the Democrat Party voting bloc across the country. That's not something that's aberrant. But to Fred's question, why is this happening? Largely, one of the major drivers is the abortion issue for young women.
Yeah, that's not even on. That's not even a. I'm not sorry. I'm not disagreeing.
It's not even on a table.
It's not even on a ticket anymore. I mean, that issue is off the table. It's already been resolved. So why would that?
It's resolved legally, right, because of the Supreme Court ruling, but we all see the kind of quote unquote man on the street interviews or on college campuses, and young women have not let it go. In fact, they've become more radical on the issue of abortion because of the Dobbs decision. They see it as having been instigated by Republicans.
Yeah, but in New York City.
Well, but this is part of their ideological view of the world, that Republicans are anti-women. That they watch Handmaid's Tale. They believe Republicans are coming for their rights, and the Dobbs decision is proof of that.
Yeah, but abortion on demand has always been. If we're talking New York City voters,
right,
has always been the law of the land in New York City, and it's never even been threatened. So I don't know why young women in New York City would go, "Oh my gosh,
right,
my abortion rights are going to be taken away."
It's not, "Oh my God," for my abortion rights specifically in New York City. It's, "Oh my gosh, these people want women
right
in the 1940s in their mind, and these people don't."
It's already been settled.
Yeah,
it's already been settled.
Well, but not for these young women.
Go for it.
Well, I'm not defending it. Yeah. I'm just saying
it's an irrational. That's an irrational viewpoint.
Exactly right.
Anyway,
it's an irrational viewpoint,
and they should just calm down.
Tell them, Ed.
One more quick
You go tell them, Ed.
For Abe, Virginia.
Yeah.
Glenn Youngkin won on parental rights.
Mm-hmm.
What happened to that as an issue in this election? Because Abigail Spanberger.
Yeah.
And the other two statewide elections, the Democrats won.
Yes.
Yep.
So what happened? I mean, there's been a huge issue in Virginia. You've got girls on soccer teams and girls saying boys are coming into my bathrooms.
Yeah.
It's been an issue over and over again.
Yeah.
But it didn't even seem to come up as a major concern.
And you think about this, following Charlie Kirk's assassination in front of the world, the Virginians elected statewide an attorney general candidate who is on the record saying that he wanted to see Republicans killed because of their political position.
And the children.
And their children. And he would desecrate the Republicans' grave. And the Virginians say, yeah, that's what we want to be the chief law enforcement officer in the entire state.
Okay, you know what that tells me? That tells me that people on the left, increasingly, again, I'm discounting the traditional liberals like Bill Maher, we talk about him, and others who think that the Democratic Party has swung too far to the left into radical
Fetterman.
or John Fetterman, and
Senator from Pennsylvania.
So I think it indicates that, and polls show this, that on the left, increasingly, they see violence in the service of their political views as being legitimate. I don't think they had a problem with what Jay Jones said.
And to amplify and underscore, not amplify, but to underscore your point, as the party, as we've referred to with Mamdani's example, and the party establishment affirming or at least remaining silent on him, comes more out. One of the main features of Marx's investment in the socialistic panoply was the utilization of violence as a political tool.
Right.
So those things are happening at the same time.
I do have something to add here on
You add it.
Zoran.
Zoran Mondani.
We covered this pretty good in the first segment, and then I said all I wanted to say until I started scrolling while y'all were talking. So we said, we know how he's going to pay for all the things. Well, he told us how he's going to pay for it. It's on his website. Are you ready? He's going to pay it by taxing corporations and the top 1% of New Yorkers, wealthiest New Yorkers, 2% in addition to what they already pay, and that's how we're going to pay for it.
Okay.
We, meaning he.
Well, at least to his credit, this guy, he laid it all out there.
Yeah.
He laid it all out there. He's coming for the top 1%.
Because you know how in years past you'll have someone who is a socialist and you ask them how they're going to pay for it and they give you a non-answer. Well, he told us.
Yeah.
Well, the problem with that is
not enough 1%.
No.
Yeah, it's not enough 1%ers.
No.
A lot of them are going to leave if they can afford it.
And it's morally wrong.
And he says we're going to just 2% more than they're already paying, which sounds eminently reasonable, but that's not going to fund all the things he wants to do.
Not going to be enough, which again brings me back to one of the first points I made. Are you a Muslim or are you a Marxist? Which one are you? Are you advocating for these Marxist policies? Because deep down, that's your mechanism of kind of taking it to the infidel.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't want to be thinking like that, but.
Well, this sets up the 2026 midterm elections, which are going to be interesting to watch because right now the Republicans hold a 2 or 3 vote margin in the House of Representatives. Is that right?
Yeah,
Something
narrow.
It's very, very narrow. And the Senate's 53-47. Or
That's
what?
right.
What is Sanders?
It's 53-47.
Yeah, Sanders is an independent, but he votes with the Democrats.
With the Democrats. Yeah.
So it's going to be, it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. But, when you look back at this, you go, well, this is not the fact that New York always votes Democrat. They did vote for Rudolph Giuliani a long time ago, and Michael Bloomberg.
Yeah.
So occasionally they'll vote for, but basically it's Democrat country, and New Jersey same way. So these are
Democrat state. You said
these are not
country.
surprises that Democrats won in blue states and blue cities. And now Virginia, as I said, is purple, but in this case, the Democrats won all 3 of the statewide offices. Thank you, Abe.
What about Fred? Thank you, Fred.
Oh, Fred, thank you, Fred, for your contributions.
We took up his time. He had some more stories there.
Well, we got to talk about the polar vortex coming up here in just a few minutes that Canada's sending us. Thanks, Fred.
The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast may not necessarily reflect those of the American Family Association or American Family Radio.
Faith, family, freedom. American Family Radio.
It's been proven again and again and again.
Bert Harper.
The verification of the dates, the verification of the genealogies, it puts spiritual iron in my spiritual blood to know that we can depend upon the Word of God.
Exploring the Word. Weekday afternoons at 3 Central on American Family Radio.
This is American Family Radio, a listener-supported ministry of the American Family Association.
American Family News, I'm Rusty Pugh. Democrats posted big wins in elections across the country Tuesday night, with New York City electing Democrat socialist Zoran Mondani to be the next mayor. House Majority Leader Steve Scalise claiming this election has a deeper meaning.
When the city of New York elected Zoran Mondani, he became the new leader of the Democrat Party.
The government shutdown rolls on as senators still have yet to pass a funding bill. South Carolina Republican Congressman Russell Fry criticizing Democrats as the shutdown is now the longest in U.S. history.
In this world, few things are certain other than death, taxes, and Democrats saying one thing and doing another. They say they're the party that cares about the American people, but everything that they have done for the last 36 days proves otherwise.
President Trump delivers remarks alongside Republican senators at the White House today. The president says he's frustrated with the slow pace of confirming judges in the Senate criticizing the tradition of blue slips.
Blue slips is a horrible thing because I have the right to pick judges and I have the right to pick U.S. attorneys, and this takes away the right from me. And I think we're going to go to court on it, and, we'll see what happens in court.
The state of Tennessee confirms that some of the state's foster children are forced to sleep in state offices, despite repeated efforts and public commitments to end the practice. More from Jeff Bonasso.
Tennessee's Department of Children's Services confirming 10 foster children slept in state offices last week, not because of a shortage of beds, but that there's not enough families and facilities prepared to take children with behavioral challenges, with some pending juvenile charges, and who can't be housed with others.
We're not going to put kids in hotels. We don't have the option to put them in an Airbnb. We don't have any other houses. And so they're in an office.
DCS Commissioner Margie Quinn in a recent legislative hearing, the state saying that new specialized facilities and treatment centers are in the works in Tennessee, though no timeline is set.
A Nobel laureate and computer scientist says there's no way big tech can make a profit after spending billions and even trillions of dollars on artificial intelligence unless they replace human labor. More from Steve Jordahl.
Jeffrey Hinton is known as the godfather of AI, and he says big companies are betting on AI causing massive job replacements because that's where the big money is going to be. Bob McGinnis, author of AI for Mankind's Future, says massive amounts of money are being invested to make AI work.
We're talking hundreds of billions of dollars have been floating around, invested, reinvested. Governments have promised, giant data centers, which cost hundreds of billions of dollars. So we're talking trillions of dollars.
He says the first jobs to be replaced will be those that require repetitive manual labor, factory workers. We're already seeing Amazon, UPS, Meta, and Microsoft lay off employees. But professional jobs like doctors and engineers will be on the chopping block as well.
If you're a lawyer, I would argue that a lot of lawyers are going to be jobless going forward because if their job was to write legal briefs and the like, AI can do a much better job than they can.
McGinnis says the jobs that will be the safest are ones that use skilled labor.
The trades, you're always going to need plumbers. You're always going to need electricians. You're always going to need people to, that use the smarts they have and their hands.
I'm Steve Jordahl.
A judge in the case against former FBI Director James Comey has ordered the Justice Department to produce critical documents by the end of the day today.
Attorneys for former FBI Director James Comey say the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia, Lindsay Halligan, didn't have proper authority to bring the case against him. They want a transcript of Halligan's presentation to the grand jury that prompted them to indict. Comey pled not guilty last month to one count of making false statements and one count of obstructing a congressional proceeding. Judge Cameron Curry has ordered the Justice Department to produce a transcript of her presentation by today. Halligan was picked after the previous U.S. Attorney resisted bringing cases against Comey and New York's Attorney General Letitia James. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
More news available online at afn.net. And download the AFN mobile app for your Android or iPhone. I'm Rusty Pugh.
This weekend, we'll look at what's behind the surge in anger against biblical morality. AFA Executive Vice President Ed Vitagliano will join us.
Acts of violence against Christians who are just preaching the gospel, that is a sign of a great deal of frustration because they've got nowhere else to turn. If there is no God, we've got to do it. And that's what the left seems to be thinking.
The Stand Radio, Saturdays at 4 and Sundays at 8 p.m. Central on AFR.
Today's Issues continues on AFR with your host, Tim Wildmon, President of the American Family Association.
Hey, good morning again, everybody. I guess good afternoon if you live in the Eastern time zone. Appreciate you listening to this program. It's called Today's Issues here on the American Family Radio Network. I'm Tim with Ed and Wesley, and Abe left and Fred left. And that leaves us with Steve Paisley-Jordahl.
You got the leftovers.
But you're not on the left, are you, Steve?
No, sir. I'm on your right.
Okay. Well,
Ed's on your left.
We throw lefties out. So, anyway, good to see you again.
Thank you. I got to ask you, Tim, you know that your staff works really hard for you, right? They're late hours. They're always in the office. But I think we need to give them some downtime. We need to give them maybe a movie night or something, because I was passing the popcorn cooler, and here's what I heard from the argument there, the debate there at around the popcorn cooler was...
What's the popcorn cooler?
Popcorn cooler?
Yeah, is that where they have
instead of the water?
Is that
cooler?
a Colorado thing?
Yeah, no, it's an AFA thing. It's where people have their discussions,
their conversations.
Around the
I got you.
Cooler.
Okay, never mind. Sorry, not tracking with you. I am now. Go ahead.
Well, the question was: is Field of Dreams a movie version of the book Catcher in the Rye? I thought no.
Steve, that was a long way to go for a joke.
Yeah, that was
that was the real conversation.
Are you serious? They were actually having it down.
They might have been having
hallway?
some fun with it, but that was the conversation down the hallway.
Was that JJ and Wesley?
No, it wasn't either one of those. I'm not going to say who that was.
Sound like a JJ joke, right?
It does, absolutely does. Yeah.
All right, you're listening to today's issues. We got the sad story nationally. Yeah. We didn't even talk about this. We should have in the first hour. What's happened in Louisville, Kentucky yesterday?
Yeah, there was a plane crash in Louisville, Kentucky. A UPS cargo plane carrying 3 crew members crashed on takeoff. It was headed for Hawaii, loaded with fuel, and it never made it much past the runway. According to reports, the port engine, which would be the left side looking forward, look to have separated entirely during takeoff, and then this is what I'm reading. Early reports indicate the mechanics may have serviced the port engine that day. That does not look good. Big, huge fireball because it was loaded with fuel. It spread over a business area with a lot of businesses. Fortunately, it was late enough at night that they were mostly closed. 9 people, at least 9 people dead, including the crew on the plane, and another 11 injured. It was a
9
McDonnell
people
Douglas.
died because of the fire hit beyond the airport?
3 people on the plane, and there was 6 on the ground.
Oh, okay.
And injured another 11. It was a McDonnell Douglas MD-11. And there were several. If you look, there's several videos of the horrific crash.
Yeah, I've seen some of the videos, and that fireball. Of course, this is just the way it is. If you've got a plane with full complement of jet fuel, it's not the kind of thing that starts small and then spreads where you have a chance. There is just a tremendous fireball, and it engulfs everything.
Yeah.
They died probably immediately.
Most people know this, but those who don't, Louisville is the international headquarters for, at least the national headquarters, but their corporate offices are located in Louisville.
UPS.
And so their flights, for their cargo and packages and everything go to Louisville and then go out from Louisville. So
I believe FedEx was out of Memphis. I think.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah,
and
FedEx is out of Memphis. Same thing.
Yeah.
Everything flies into Memphis on FedEx, and everything flies out. But and at night where we live, you can see the planes coming in.
Yeah.
From to land to go to Memphis, but in Louisville, yeah, that's the headquarters for UPS.
Yeah,
so
it's
very tragic, very sad. And this fireball from the plane, as you say, it had a full tank of gas because it was on its way to Hawaii.
Yeah.
And, so, anyway, go ahead.
All right. There are articles of impeachment that have been filed against Judge James Boasberg. Does that name sound familiar to anybody? James Boasberg was assigned a remarkable number of politically consequential cases, including the Arctic frost January 6th investigation, in fact, Eric Schmidt, who filed the articles of impeachment, called the number of major rulings assigned to Boasberg a statistical impossibility. So he has been, this is a man at the center of a lot of the political strife in the courts, a lot of the lawfare accusations by Republicans, and now he has been served with articles of impeachment. And so as we found out this morning, that will go, once they're filed, the House will have a vote. If all the Republicans vote, it's a majority. If the majority votes in the House, then it is taken over to the Senate, where they have a trial that is presided by John Roberts, the Chief Justice of the United States Supreme Court. A two-thirds majority will have to vote to remove him from office. Unlikely to happen because there's not that kind of a Republican majority in the Senate.
I'm sure the Democrats in the Senate they have no problem with Arctic frost or anything else that has happened. Certainly nothing that was directed towards President Trump. You're not going to get two-thirds in the Senate. As we talked about this morning, though, in our story meeting, I do think it's important that Republicans do their job in the House of Representatives if they believe there is clear indication that this Judge Boasberg was tainted in terms of his judicial responsibilities and used his power and authority to help one party go after the other political party. Then Republicans, regardless of what the chances are in the Senate, I think they need to return a guilty verdict if that's where the evidence leads them. And it's, in other words, you sometimes you got to do the right thing and do your duty, even if you know it's not going to ultimately wind up in this judge being removed from the bench.
Touches my heart, Ed.
Yeah, well, we could
the
have
way
had
that
some.
your optimistic view of mankind there was just so touching.
There's kind of a Jimmy Stewart feel to it, right?
Yeah,
Mr. Smith goes to
Listen,
Washington.
he's balancing himself out because he was positive in the first hour.
Yes.
You brought the good news.
Right.
And now you're bringing us back up or down? Which one?
I'm bringing us to reality.
Oh, reality. Okay.
Democrats are not going to convict one of their own.
Right,
I
that's
think
not going to happen.
This judge is one of theirs.
Next story.
All right. Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins is describing the Supplementary Nutrition and Assistance Program, SNAP, otherwise known as food stamps, as bloated, broken, and dysfunctional and corrupt. And, in fact, she's saying so publicly. Let's listen to cut 16.
We sent letters to every governor in America being very clear that no illegal aliens can use SNAP. 0, 0, 0. We increased almost 40% on this program in just a couple of years under the Biden administration. Of course, we know they were trying to buy the election, but that's a conversation for another time. In that data, we've studied about $100 billion in spend. We have found thousands and thousands of illegal use of the EBT card. We have been moving people off of SNAP. We've got almost 700,000 people, I think, we've moved off just since the president took office. We've arrested about 118 people. That we found about 5,000 people that are dead who are still getting benefits. It is time to drastically reform this program so that we can make sure that those who are truly needy, truly vulnerable, are getting what they need, and the rest of the corruption goes away, and we can serve the American taxpayer.
Again, that's just a great outlook on life right there. I appreciate that. Reforming SNAP, I appreciate that.
So are you just having fun?
You know
with
what?
this?
I shouldn't be so cynical. I shouldn't be. She's right. I agree with her, and maybe something can be done. But as long as our country's so divided, 50-50, it's hard to get anything like that done.
Now that is true.
And also, Republicans are uneasy oftentimes about using the words reform in terms of federal government programs. Uneasy, or they don't even want to talk about it too much, because the minute they start discussing this, the Democrats and the media just bludgeon them with, they want to cut your benefits off, whatever it may be, and it works. That worked. Roll grandma off the cliff.
Right.
So
take away your social
security. So if you
used to be you're opposed to funding the military.
Now?
They've used that one too in the past. during the shutdowns, they would say, well, the Republicans don't want to fund the military.
Well, they can't say that this time because they have been.
Yeah, I know that. This is their new one.
Yeah.
Well, what they really exploit people's feelings on, though, are the social programs. For example, they're going to say, if the Republicans say, okay, we need to reform SNAP because there's too much abuse, they're going to say, see, the Republicans want to starve people out. They don't want to give them their money for food.
Well, this is listen. The weird thing about this is there's real fear on the part of people who are dependent on SNAP. We've all been reading stories of people who get $2,000 worth for whatever number of people in the family of SNAP benefits
a month.
Yeah, a month. If it's like a family of whatever 4, how many kids they have. And
Dad's considering it.
Well, but here's the thing.
Thinking about it.
If you are already dependent on that, and then you're told we're cutting that off, you are telling people who have no other source of income to buy food, you can't eat this month. Now, what I'm saying is the real problem here is that you have allowed people to become dependent on SNAP who could be working. And once you get people who are dependent upon government handouts, they're going to vote for you if you say you're going to lose the benefits.
Have you you've seen pictures of actual starving people in Africa or whatever with the distended bellies and the gaunt figures? And can you imagine, is it even possible to imagine anyone in the United States, given the charities, the food banks, the churches, actually dying or suffering of hunger in this country? No, I don't think so. I think there's plenty of stuff to go around. And if you look at the people that the Democrats are putting up as recipients of these, I'll just say that most of them don't look like they've missed many meals.
Yeah.
And this is the politics that they're playing with it. This is, again, from Gina Rollins. Brooke Rollins. She said, the Democrat Party has turned its back on working Americans and built its entire strategy around protecting illegal aliens, because she says there's a lot of illegals on food stamps here. They know that if the handouts stop, these illegals will go back home and the Democrats will lose 20-plus seats in the next census.
Who said that?
This is Brooke Rollins, the Secretary of Agriculture, who is wanting to clean up the rolls.
I got you. All right. You're listening to Today's Issues on American Family Radio. Steve Jordahl bringing the news to us. What's your next story, Steve?
Were you guys fans of Dilbert back in the day in the 90s?
Yes. Sure.
Great comic series. Its author, his name is Scott Adams, is suffering from an aggressive form, he says, of prostate cancer, metastatic prostate cancer. He put a tweet out over the weekend, this last weekend, that said that he needs some experimental medicine. It's called Pluvicto, and it is for people who have gone through the radio chemotherapy, and it hasn't worked. And so this is kind of a last-ditch effort, and it's been approved, but he was having problems getting it from his provider in Northern California, so he gave an appeal to President Trump. Please, can you intervene so that I can get my medication? President has. It looks like he's getting the medication. Of course, it's too early to find out how effective it's going to be. But Scott Adams saying in his tweet, he's going fast. He's declining rapidly, is what he said. And so that's where Scott Adams is at. He has been very public of late. He was late he kept this to himself for years, a number of years, but he revealed in May that he had the metastatic prostate cancer, and he's been kind of chronicling that journey since.
Mm. Well, we know a lot of people that have
very common. It's a common form of cancer for men, prostate cancer. That's why it's imperative that you get an annual checkup where they can do a blood test and can determine. And you need to request a what's it called?
PSA test.
Yeah, which that can be
blood test.
That can be a test to determine whether or not you have. You need to do further research to see if you have prostate cancer.
Starting point.
If you catch prostate cancer early enough, your chances of dealing with it are extremely well and being healed from it.
There are various forms of prostate cancer.
Yeah.
There are different types. The most common is slow growing and really might not even require any emergency
No,
steps.
it doesn't kill you before you die of other natural causes.
Depending on how old you are.
I know somebody going
Right.
through that right now. The doctor told them, well, yeah, you got prostate cancer, but it's slow growth, so we're just going to watch it.
My father-in-law had it. They called it smoldering.
Smoldering?
Smoldering cancer, which is it doesn't. It's going
Right.
to be. You're going to die of natural causes.
Right.
It's going to be 20 years.
They
before
say
it takes your life.
every man who lives long enough is going to get prostate cancer.
However, there are some more aggressive, rarer types of highly aggressive and quick-spreading prostate cancer, and we don't know which kind Scott Adams had.
Right.
But it's still the advice is well taken. Get a checkup. Get a checkup. Get a checkup. I would like to bid a fond farewell, if I may, to one of the most woke magazines in our entire nation.
Yeah, please do.
Teen Vogue is being absorbed into the larger Vogue magazine. It will not stand on its own anymore. After 22 years, publisher Condé Nast said they've laid off half of the staff.
For Teen Vogue?
For Teen Vogue. This was one of the most liberal, pro-abortion. It was the one where if you were ever going to have, and this is aimed at young teen girls.
Teenage, yeah.
And if you're ever going to have, this is the kind of magazine that would publish graphically sexual articles and stuff. They what did them in, however, according to this article that I'm reading, which is in the Daily Mail, is two articles. One they did on Antifa, and one they did on a woke kind of article. The Antifa one was titled "Here's What Antifa is Really Trying to Do," and they summarized it as saying Antifa grows out of a larger revolutionary politics that aspires towards creating a better world, but the primary motivation is to stop racists from organizing, which is a gross misstatement about what Antifa is about. They're disaffected.
Yeah.
Mostly.
So all those who are out there listening to us who subscribe to Teen Vogue, we just wanted you to be aware that they are cutting their staff, and so expect the articles to be a lot shorter.
If you want, we have
More
a magazine.
pictures.
We have a magazine we could send you. You can replace it.
There you go.
Yeah,
A little bit different worldview.
Just a little bit.
Being expressed. Hey, I want to talk about, you're listening to today's issues. I wanted to inject another question here.
Yeah.
None of us are economists, but we do.
We say that about a lot. We're not a lot.
Well, we say that about a lot of topics. I mean, I am a meteorologist.
That's right.
But
other than that.
But I'm an amateur
That's
meteorologist.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
we do know what you're saying.
Okay, well.
We absolutely know.
I went to a fast food restaurant earlier this morning to get my wife a sausage and egg biscuit. Yes, she eats pork.
Right.
I just want to get that out there. Sausage and egg, not often, but she does.
Right.
But the Bible says we can. Am I right?
The New Testament.
It doesn't say we can't.
Right.
So I think we're in agreement.
Okay. I want to move on past that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I got a sausage and egg biscuit and a large Diet Coke. Drive-through line. I get up to the window.
Probably 10.
And I get my credit card out because now at fast food places you can't get by with $5. It was $9.05.
What?
That's what I said.
Yeah.
I told the
Check your
lady, with all
receipt.
due respect, and don't take this personally, I said, I ain't paying that. So I said,
You're
you
not
and I
getting
can
your food.
you and I can negotiate a price here, or I'm going to sit right here and I'm not moving from the line here.
A bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit and a.
No, it didn't even have cheese. Just a bacon and egg biscuit.
Cheese would have put it over $10.
Cheese would have put it over $10. Now, do you think I need to go look at that ticket?
You need to look at the receipt. I think they charged you for.
No, that's right.
What? Is that right, Wesley?
Yeah, that's right. Because a large, you got a large Coke or
large Diet Coke and a sausage and egg biscuit was $9.05. And I don't normally pay attention to things like this, because I have other things that are more important to think about, college football, things of that nature.
You're an empty nest.
But I just usually hand the card. I don't even think about what I paid. But she said $9.05, and I thought to myself, are prices going up on everything to where it's just not going to be? When are we going to reach the point of no return in terms of people cannot afford to?
Yeah.
Now, I voluntarily went to that restaurant. Nobody made me go. So, but how long are people going to pay for things at this kind of
I hope I'm wrong, but I feel like that's one thing that the Trump administration. Now, how much they can do about it, I don't know, but I feel like we need to focus more of our energy than we have been on.
What about the price of houses? Have you seen the price of houses?
Yeah, it's insane.
How much they've gone up nationally?
Yeah.
I have not.
I've got two questions, though, on the hamburger. First of all, if you stayed in the drive-through lane, Wesley, did you have to post his bail after the trespassing charges? And second, did you think about paying for him with your SNAP card?
Well, no, I didn't have it.
Oh.
You didn't have it on you?
I didn't have it on me. No.
But I saw your brain spinning when he said that some people get up to $2,000 a month.
Oh, let me clarify that. It's only in certain states where it can get up that high. I did look this up, and I do want to make sure that I let our listeners know the truth. So it's only in certain states. In Alaska, you can get up to $19.95, almost $2,000.
A person?
No, for a family of 4.
Okay.
And Hawaii, $16.89, but most are not that high. So I do want to clarify this. I think some of what I'm reading here, it's the most you can get for a family of 4 is about close to $1,000.
Okay, so Allison and I built our house 10 years ago.
Okay.
And we were looking at how you can get a real estate
appraisal.
You can get a real estate magazine while you eat dinner and just peruse it. They have them out at different restaurants. And our house has gone up 40%.
Yeah.
In 10 years?
In 10 years. The price of what we could get for our home today is 40 you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Is 40 it's almost I take that back. I misquote. It's like almost doubled.
So here's another way of looking at it. We've been in our house for 8 years, and if we were to build again, we have no equity.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So we'll see y'all tomorrow, everybody. Have a great day.
That's what we're saying.
Hey, my name is Wesley Wildmon.
And I'm Walker Wildmon.